the Amish people are an intriguing and unique element of America's diverse cultural and religious landscape. Their manner of life can feel completely disconnected from modern culture because to their unfaltering faith, close-knit social connections, and reputation for simplicity. Along with their special customs, such as rumspringa and bundling, and their reluctance to embrace contemporary technology, they value family and community. Amish dental care, including tooth extraction, is an unusual yet disturbing practice, especially among married women. This may appear excessive when viewed through the lens of modern society, yet it has strong historical, cultural, and economic roots within Amish culture. We need to investigate Amish perspectives on healthcare, religious views, and communal values that influence this choice if we want to know why Amish women may get their teeth pulled after getting married. Having healthy teeth extracted is a terrifying thought for a lot of individuals. After all, individuals in today's society place a premium on maintaining healthy teeth for life, and routine exams are a great way to do just that. Things are different, though, in Amish communities. After getting married, many Amish women opt to get their teeth extracted. Although it may appear excessive at first, they regard it as a sensible decision. When it comes to dental care, the Amish are a bit behind the times. And the cost of routine dental treatment can add up. Some Amish women would rather have their teeth extracted and replaced with dentures than deal with the possibility of future dental issues like cavities or pain. By doing so, individuals can save themselves the trouble and expense of dealing with oral problems down the road. Many individuals from outside the community find this ritual perplexing. Why risk damaging healthy teeth by extracting them? Why not simply tend to their needs? But the Amish value sacrifice, pragmatism, and a life lived simply. Among an Amish wife's many duties is that of motherhood, housekeeping, and financial support for her husband. She must not let herself be held back by dental discomfort or expensive procedures. She chooses dentures early on so she won't have to worry about her teeth being loose or broken while she's a parent. This practice exemplifies a fundamental principle of Amish life, prioritizing the needs of the community over individual comfort. Individuals' well-being and physical attractiveness tend to take center stage in today's culture. Personal preferences take a back seat to the needs of one's family and community among the Amish. It is reasonable to support tooth extractions if they help women avoid health issues and improve their ability to care for their families. For Amish people, superstitions are more than merely tales passed down through generations or pointless rites of passage. Their faith and lifestyle are fundamental to who they are. The Amish community finds solace, direction, and order in their seemingly antiquated beliefs, which may appear weird or out of date to those on the outside. The idea that dreams convey divine messages is one of the most ingrained superstitions among Amish people. To an Amish, a strange or odd dream can be a sign from on high, a prophecy, or even a message from God. For instance, one interpretation is that a dream involving fire portends impending doom. The dreamer to exercise greater caution. The Amish do not write off dreams as nothing more than random ideas floating around in one's head. People pay close attention to them, and they may even have an impact on major choices. Superstition is also a feature of funerals for Amish people. According to Amish belief, the deceased's passage to the hereafter can be influenced by each detail of the funeral, including the handmade wooden coffin and the sequence of ceremonies. Bad luck may ensue from a lack of observance of traditions. Could impede the individual's path to enlightenment. This is why every aspect of an Amish funeral is meticulously planned and executed. A great deal of dogma and tradition surrounds pregnancy as well. Avoiding funerals while pregnant is one of the most stringent requirements for Amish women. They think that going to a funeral while pregnant could be bad for the baby in some way, whether it's physically or spiritually. For the Amish, adhering to these customs ensures the safety of mother and child, even though it may appear superfluous to those on the outside. It is puzzling that the Amish continue to depend on superstitions in this modern day when science and medicine have provided explanations for many things that were once considered mysterious. Nonetheless, they find solace, order, and a strong bond to their religion in these ideas. The Amish maintain their traditions by living a life centered around simplicity and devotion, which includes trusting in dreams, rituals, and supernatural signs. Education is generally considered as the path to a brighter future. Discover a world of possibilities, professional growth, and self-sufficiency. The Amish, on the other hand, see no need for a college degree. Instead of learning abstract concepts like algebra or global history, Amish youngsters acquire lifelong practical skills that are applied throughout their education, which concludes after 8th grade. gardening, sewing, preparing food, and working with wood. This may appear to be a huge drawback to those on the outside looking in, particularly for Amish girls who are expected to prioritize housekeeping above education and the workforce. Stopping school so early can feel restricting in today's society because education is generally associated with personal progress and achievement. It is widely believed that every child should have the opportunity to reach their maximum potential. However, the Amish view education through a different lens. Prioritizing community and self-sufficiency over individual ambition is central to their way of life. Neither a degree nor sophisticated mathematics are prerequisites for caring for crops or starting a family. Rather, they place a premium on practical training and experience in the actual world. From the outside looking in, this may appear restrictive, but the Amish consider it as a way to ground their children and prepare them for the world. One major distinction between the Amish and the rest of society is their views on education, which are diametrically opposed. Contrary to popular belief, the Amish do not consider education a right but rather an option that complements their austere, faith-based lifestyle. One of the many interesting things about Amish culture is the way they see technology. Technology permeates every aspect of our modern existence. Modern conveniences like cell phones, automobiles, and power grids have made people's lives easier and more interconnected. As a whole, technology is a detriment to people's devotion to God, their families, and their jobs. For this reason, they forego contemporary comforts like running water, electricity, and telephones. A lot of people think this isn't possible. How do they stay alive in a world devoid of even the most basic technological advancements? Where do they get their news? Actually, Amish people don't consider technology to be very important. They think it promotes conceit, sloth, and reliance on others. They stay centered on what matters most to them, their faith, family, and traditions, by avoiding it. That doesn't imply they're totally cut off from the rest of society, though. When it comes to using a phone for business or hiring a driver for long-distance travel, some Amish villages make tiny allowances when it's essential. However, on the whole, they are adamant that technology is bad for society. Most people in today's fast-paced, tech-driven world depend on contemporary comforts for amusement and relaxation. But the Amish prefer to keep to themselves and live a simple life unencumbered by modern conveniences. Vacations are an unexpected exception to their reputation for eschewing frills. Despite their emphasis on community and home life, Amish do occasionally take peaceful vacations to scenic locations like the mountains or the seaside. Trains are their mode of transportation of choice because they do not own cars. They nevertheless get an opportunity to unwind and rejuvenate on these relatively small holidays, especially when compared to today's extravagant getaways. Because it appears to go against the Amish way of life, many outsiders find this strange. But even the most reclusive societies require downtime to recharge and strengthen familial relationships. The Amish travel incognito, avoiding popular tourist areas and huge crowds, so as not to attract unwanted attention. Shouting is another part of Amish culture that surprises people from other cultures. Those who disobey the regulations in Amish villages suffer severe repercussions. Everyone avoids you if you have even a passing interest in contemporary technology or if you reject the authority of your church. Their loved ones and neighbors will treat them with complete disdain, cutting them off from meals and refusing to engage in conversation. Instead of punishing, shunning should motivate the excluded individual to get back on track and play by the rules. Shunning may be incredibly painful for individuals who depend on their community for their everyday needs and assistance. Isolation from family and friends and the loss of contact with loved ones is a terrible thing. The Amish consider this practice as essential to upholding their traditions and way of life, even though it may appear harsh and cruel to those from outside their community. Shouting at others is a form of spiritual discipline for the Amish, although it is often misunderstood by those on the outside. Everyone should remember the significance of keeping the norms and the community's way of life by shunned. Its purpose is not retribution but rather the promotion of repentance and redemption. It can be extremely challenging to be thrown out because it involves losing not only one's beliefs but also one's entire community, including family and support. What people wear is another area where the Amish adhere rigidly to tradition. Even though we live in a world where fast fashion and fancy labels abound, the Amish insist on wearing exclusively handcrafted garments. Using basic hues like blue, black, or gray, each outfit is meticulously hand-sewn. They stay away from trendy fabrics, zippers, and embellishments. Dressing modestly and fitting in with one's community is more important than expressing one's individuality to Amish. Independence and humility are emphasized in this discipline. Those on the outside looking in would find the idea of hand-sewing each garment to be limiting and tedious. But for the Amish, it's a method to reject worldly possessions and reject vanity while keeping their principles ingrained in every thread. Mustaches are strictly forbidden in Amish culture, which is one of the most shocking laws. Mustaches are strictly outlawed among Amish males, even if beards are a common accessory. Their rule originates in their history in Europe, where the presence of a mustache was frequently linked to aggressiveness and the military. Avoiding mustaches was a way for the Amish to show their distancing from violent conflict and their dedication to peace. After being married, Amish males are expected to show their commitment and maturity by growing a beard. Maintaining a clean upper lip, however, is a continual symbol of their pacifist convictions. Rumspringa is another intriguing Amish tradition. A time when young Amish people are permitted to have some contact with the secular world before making a final decision about their religious commitment. It may sound like every adolescent spends some of their time running around, but that's just how Rumspringa means it. Jeans, vehicles, and parties are all acceptable attire for Amish teenagers during this period. The outside world may think the Amish are having a wild spring break, but the young Amish often use this time for serious introspection. A tiny percentage decides to abandon the Amish way of life, but the majority returns to their communities and is baptized into the Amish faith. Though it may be a bold move to give teenagers a taste of modern freedoms before asking them to give them up for good, the Amish hold that faith is only significant when freely chosen. For those on the outside looking in, this notion is fascinating and perplexing. Toys that represent the principles of the Amish culture are also passed down through the generations. Amish dolls are devoid of any facial features, in contrast to the majority of dolls. Since all persons are equal in God's eyes, the Amish do this to discourage egotism and selfishness. Even though these dolls teach humility, they could be disturbing to anyone who aren't familiar with the custom. The dolls may appear lifeless without any facial features, which is in sharp contrast to the intricate and vibrant toys that many kids like playing with. These lifeless dolls represent a valuable lesson. They instill in kids the value of looking within rather than at external attributes. The Amish practice beard clipping as a severe form of punishment. A man's beard is a symbol of his inner strength, wisdom, and devoutness in Amish society. As a crucial part of a man's identity, a beard is terribly humiliating to cut off. When people disobey the laws of the community, this is the punishment they face. Maintaining order in a manner that seems quite intimate. Beard trimming is more than simply a trim for those on the outside looking in, it's a major lifestyle shift. A man's status within the Amish faith is diminished by this symbolic act. Going blank is more than simply humiliating. It serves as a public notice that someone disregarded the regulations. In the current era, this practice has even sparked legal conflicts, as some view it as an infringement on personal rights. But for the Amish, it's a long-established method of enforcing responsibility and discipline among members of the community. Typically, Amish women are expected to have a large family, ranging from 6 to 10 children. They maintain a robust population as a result of this. Because children are considered a gift from God, birth control is illegal. There is a lot of pressure on Amish women to conform to this expectation, even though parenting is highly valued in their society. Many individuals today think this custom is too heavy and old-fashioned. Even non-Amish people are perplexed by the way Amish women bring up such big families in the absence of contemporary amenities. Although this way of living may appear limiting to those from outside the Amish community, it is an integral component of their faith and their responsibility as caretakers. People from other cultures are still surprised by the large size of their families. Big families bring happiness and strength to the Amish and help them maintain their society. Nevertheless, photographing is absolutely prohibited. According to their interpretation of the Bible, it is forbidden to create representations of humans because we are created in God's image. No candid photographs, family portraits, or other intimate images will be allowed. Additionally, the Amish believe that photography encourages ostentation and conceit, which contradicts their principles of modesty. In today's selfie and social media-obsessed society, this rule can be confusing to those on the outside looking in. It is hard to fathom a world without photographs during special occasions like birthdays and weddings. This means that Amish women will only be remembered for their accomplishments and attractiveness in people's memories, and not through photographs. To keep their attention off of themselves and on God and their community, they think avoiding photographs is a good idea. The restriction is in line with their conviction that humility is more essential than recognition, even though it may appear excessive to outsiders. Bundling is a custom that Amish couples follow when they are courting. What this implies is that there's a little twist: a young man and a woman sleep in the same bed. To avoid touching one another, they are separated by a large blanket or a wooden board. This may appear to be a daring exercise in self-restraint to those on the outside, particularly for a group that places a premium on virginity. Bundling, on the other hand, is a long-standing practice among Amish that permits prospective spouses to meet and get to know one another without compromising their moral principles. The Amish bundling tradition has its roots in the biblical tale of Boaz and Ruth. Under these conditions, engaged couples can sleep together before marriage, but only under very specific circumstances. Since having sexual relations before marriage is taboo, families are on board with these visits and have faith in the pair to respect their values. Though it may appear strange or archaic to those of us living in the modern world, the Amish use bundling as a means of expressing our devotion to modesty and strengthening our bonds as partners. Still, it's not always easy for onlookers to grasp the concept of a young couple sleeping together in such a manner. When compared to contemporary norms, the way Amish communities bathe is radically different. It is common practice for families to share a bathtub and take turns soaking. To top it all off, a lot of Amish houses don't have running water, so people typically take their baths in barns. This may appear unclean and unworkable to those from outside the area, particularly after a long day of farming and other household tasks. But for the Amish, it's just another method to cut costs and live frugally. Although this method of washing oneself may appear strange to outsiders, the Amish perceive it as a reflection of their modesty and independence. Plain blue or purple dresses, often manufactured by relatives or friends, are worn by Amish brides in contrast to the elaborate white gowns worn by traditional weddings. In keeping with their principles of modesty and pragmatism, these dresses are plain and unadorned. The total lack of glitz is what usually catches people from the outside by surprise. No flowers, no glistening jewelry, no veil. To keep herself reminded of her vows, the bride wears her wedding dress as her Sunday best even after the wedding. The Amish place a greater emphasis on faith, family, and simplicity in their wedding ceremonies than modern society does. Their tradition is both interesting and humbling because of this disparity. Marriage, according to Amish tradition, is a vow that cannot be broken. It makes no difference how bad things get, divorce is absolutely forbidden. A couple is bound to uphold their vows to the end of time. In a society where many people view divorce as a viable choice in troubled marriages, this may be shocking. This means that Amish women will have to go through disputes and sufferings without any chance of escape. Some see this as a manifestation of profound loyalty. Some people think it's scary because it doesn't give them a way out of toxic relationships.